Hello, everyone. This is Mornings with Michael for information educational purposes only. Obviously, this is not morning. We're after the close, and we'll just take a look at what's happening. Let me, pardon me. Let me share my screen. I'm just looking for screen I was just on, and it seems to be missing right now. So let me pull it up again. And here we go. So this is the heat map. As we can see, the big seven continue to pull back, which isn't a bad sign. As I said on my Saturday podcast, Google is down 2%, Meta is down 1.5%, Tesla is down 1.36%, Amazon down 1.5%, Nvidia is back 2.7%, Salesforce gave up 3.6%, AMD 2.3%, Applied Materials down 2.2%. Financials are kind of a mixed bag. Little red, little few places here. So that's that screen, and share screen about, I believe 85% of the people should be in an annuity. Annuity steps up, never loses money. This is a bob and weave of how index annuity or index investing goes. You can definitely lose money in index investing, where in annuities you can't. Over the course of a year, annuities beat index investing by about 5%. Right now, index or annuities are giving about 40 to 45% bonuses for all new money coming into an annuity. So that is that. Share our chart screen. This is Kava. Looks like it's kind of building the right side of a base here. So we'll just continue to watch that. Before we go on to the news, let's look at the dollar index. Dollar, it's like it gapped up a little bit, up 0.45%. I believe gold pulled back. Yeah, gold had a big pullback, down 2% after hitting an all-time high. And then silver also pulled back. If you've been listening to me, but taking profits right about here, you'd be happy. We'll see if it pulls back to the 20-day or a little further, and then we can buy back plus 2 to 5% more. So that's that. Let's see what our copper friends have been doing. A little bit of a pullback in Arrow Copper after a big move on Friday. Southern Copper got a little bigger pullback. Freeport McMoran, very similar to Southern Copper. It almost like tried to fill the gap. Vale down to its 20-day moving average. Rio, which has 5% plus yield, definitely filled the gap. See if it goes down to the 20-day moving average. BHP, Australia, looks like it's trying to fill the gap. And that's it in that section. Look at our bonds. Treasury bonds, a little bit of a bounce, but after this big move down, you would kind of expect it. Up almost 1.5%. And we got 0.75% on the 20-year. The VIX, or volatility index, gapped up, closed on its low, but so is up 3.5%. S&P 500, about 0.5% pullback. And the equal weighted S&P looks a lot better. It's actually up 0.05%. And here we got the big cap techs are definitely pulling back. They bounced off of their 20-day moving average. Let's see what the equal weight did. Yeah, it looks a lot better. They bounced off of the 10-day. IWM, I think, had a pretty good day. Yeah, they continue to pour in money. Looks like there's a little bit of a rotation. Not quite as much volume as on Friday, but Friday was massive volume. And Dow Jones is down just barely, 0.11%. So that's a look there. Let's go to the news. GitLab after hours, one of the stocks that we put, I think I showed it on Thursday, that we put on an option trade. We'll take a look at that a little later too. S&P Dow Jones indices announced several changes to the S&P 500, mid-cap 400, and small-cap 600 indices on Friday, effective prior to the open on trading on Monday, December 18th, coincide with the quarterly rebalance. Uber Technology, they went up a little over 2%. They hit this green profit taking zone after the breakout and then pulled back. JBL, not much move there. And Builder tried to move up, pulled back. Will replace Sealed Air. Got a slight pullback. Alaska and Solar Edge. Alaska actually, a big gap down, 14.22% today. Solar Edge, not much move. It's up 1.36%. S&P small cap 600, Rambus, and Comfort Systems will replace Javelin Builder's first source in the S&P mid-cap 400. So here we got Rambus, got a pretty good pullback there. And Comfort Systems, we got a pullback to the 20-day moving average. Julian Loki and Equitable Holdings will replace Topgolf Callaway. Julian Loki, yeah, mergers and acquisition. That got quite a move today out of that news. Quite a bit of volume. And let's go to the Equitable Holdings. They had been on the upswing and just continued with massive volume today. We'll look at Topgolf Callaway brands. Slight uptick today. Vestas was replaced. And it looks like a IPO actually. And it just keeps moving on up. 21% earnings increase in 2021. Pretty strong. Looks like we got a new high here, even though the blue dot isn't showing. Clearfield, not much movement there. Going to be replaced as well. And what was the other one? OneSpan. and it sold off, bounced from its 20-day moving average. Okay, moving on. Hermes, Armstrong Industries, National Health Corp, and PJT Partners will replace Community Health Systems, Invesco Mortgage Capital and Bio Services, James River Holdings, and the S&P Small Cap 600. Hermes got a jump and raise, massive volume. It's hard to believe that that isn't the highest since the breakout. Armstrong World Industries, gapping up, massive move, up 5.48%. National Healthcare Corp, also huge move on that news as well. And PJT Partners, yeah, big gap up there. People are adding that to their portfolio, that's for sure. Alaska Air reached roughly $1.9 billion deal. It includes debt to buy Hawaiian Airlines, with Hawaiian shareholders to receive $18 a share in cash under the deal closing. After closing under $5 a share on Friday, yeah, look at that massive move on Hawaiian Holdings. Carvana upgraded to underweight to neutral at JP Morgan and raised target to $40 from $25. And that's where it hit, $40. MGM, casino workers for MGM Grand Detroit have voted to ratify a new contract ending a 47-day strike. Okay. Tesla, China, made electric vehicles shares sales skidded 17.8% in November year over year to 82,432 cars. Went down 1.36% onto energy, industrial, and materials. CNX Resources upgraded to buy from hold at Truist and raised target to 27 from 20. RPM International mentioned positively in Barron, saying the company is making a name for itself among investors as a dividend champion. And with that news, it's moving up slightly, not on too huge a volume. South Korea agreed to buy an undisclosed number of Embraer ERJ C-390 Millennium cargo aircraft, the Brazilian aerospace company said. I typed in the wrong symbol. We got slight pullback in the ERJ. Virgin Galactic shares fell after Richard Branson told the Financial Times that he doesn't plan further investments in the space tourism startup he founded. And we got a pretty good move down. Charles Schwab files automatic mixed security shelf. Not much news there. Citizen Financial Group downgraded to equal weight from overweighted Morgan Stanley, and they continue up. Cigna said it expects to reaffirm projected full year 2023 consolidated adjusted income from operations on a per share basis of at least $24.75 a share, and it did nothing for their shares. Insight upgraded to buy from neutral at Guggenheim, and gaps up on that news. Eli Lilly, the leading, I guess, pharmaceutical, healthcare stock, bounces. J. Pirca was approved by the FDA to treat adults with chronic lymphocytic leukemia or small lymphocytic leukemia. At least 2 prior lines of therapy. Roche announced the entry into definitive merger agreement to acquire Carmot Therapeutics, privately owned U.S. company, for $3.1 billion. Carmot R&D portfolio includes clinical stage cutaneous and oral incretins with best-in-class potential to treat obesity in patients with and without diabetes. Trupanion files to sell 3.64 million shares of common stock for holders. Interesting, and they go up on the news. And finally, in technology, media, and telecom, Corning files mixed security stealth. CADR was downgraded from overweight to equal weight and lowered to $47 from $55. And it goes up on the news. Spotify announced a reduction in the company's employee base by approximately 17%. It estimates it will incur approximately 130 million, 145 million euro charges. Super Micro Computer and Vertiv Holdings mentioned positively in Bearings, noting NVIDIA is a clear and most obvious beneficiary of AI build out, but says both companies are less well known to investors that should equally benefit in the year ahead. So that's our news for today. Let's move over to find out where the big money was flowing today. Spotify, I believe, was one of them. We looked at Uber. Uber was one of them. 5.9. Massive move, a lot of volume. Went into the profit zone. Some people took their profits and it pulled back a little bit. Still up 7.39%. Make My Trip. I believe this is an Indian travel company. Massive volume over here. Like a pretty good breakout. Carvana got a pretty good gap up today. Most volume in a long time. Siggy. Selective Insurance. Pretty good volume. Got some barometers over here showing that volume was picking up above its 50-day moving average. And I think I hit the wrong key. The Bank Corp got some massive volume and it's moving up 2.3%. Powell Industries, it looks like we got a breakout over here. Moving up pretty good. Huge move by IDEX Laboratories, massive volume, 24% earnings this year and another 11% next year, 16% up in the last quarter. And Black Bod, new high in the relative strength against the S&P 500, pretty good volume. We've had a lot of good volume over here as it's been moving up on the side. It's got back into the buy point on Friday. Top build breaking out here. Pretty good volume. Look at AVAV. This is where a lot of money is moving in aeronautics and FTAI also looks pretty good in this area. I think we looked at a number of the down ones in the news. So let's see if I can get one or two more for you before we take a look back. So the only one we didn't really look at was Booz Allen. It's defense, intelligence, civil management, and aeronautics, kind of in that same space. Yeah, it looks like it's breaking out. Had the big volume on Thursday, continued on Friday, and a little more volume today. So definitely got a breakout here. So let's take a look at GitLab. I bought this on Friday. I believe it was at 51 the call, and volume is growing. And it beat on earnings estimates today. We'll have it in the news tomorrow. After hours is up 16%, not too bad. Didn't look at ARM on Saturday morning, but I really like this formation. Looks like it's building a shelf here. It's one of my favorite formations. We'll just see which way it goes. See if it can get a breakout. Had some pretty good volume over here. Just hasn't continued upwards. Look at a couple of the other issues that we bought. Believe it was 125. Bought the 125 option over here on Elf Beauty. You just bring up the others. Of course, going back to BLTE or August, look at when it was at 22 right in here, this shelf pattern, and it's just continued to go up. Looks like we're working on a 1 week tight at least, 3 days in a row. Pretty tight action here. The one other that we looked at the same period started to sell off today, but bounced back nicely off of the 10-day moving average, only off 4 cents. Once again, this was $160 in 2021. Both BLTE and Greenwich Life Sciences came public in 2020. Here's IoT. We bought it at 25 call option. Goes up 25% on Friday, and it's holding pretty good today. We looked at, we got knocked out of crowd, but back here we had bought the $155 call option, and yeah, it just keeps going up. It looks like a shelf pattern it's building here. So we'll just see where it goes. The volume has receded quite a bit, but the one we replaced it with was Zscaler. Bought it at 175 or 177, one of those two areas, and it's looking pretty good so far. Looking at Palo Alto Networks, kind of broke out and had some pretty good selling here today. And now let's go to silver. We took a good 10% profit over here. And if it comes down to the 20 period, I think we're going to add half of what we're going to add. And if it comes down further, we'll add the other half. So we're looking to add 15% as it gets on its pullback here. And one we haven't looked at so far, Denison Mines, really kind of like this. Originally, a few years ago, I bought this at 85 cents, so it's gone up $1 since then. Got back into this recently. I believe it was around 177. We're going to look and see if we add a little more to this. So that is our show for today. Thanks for joining Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Oh, and the question is, what kind of pattern is this? This is a cup with a handle. And we'd like to see some volume, have a breakout. Mornings with Michael is for information and educational purposes only. Thanks for joining. Everybody have a great week and hope your Monday is off to a great start.